Welcome to the Market Mystics podcast. I'm Joshua.
I'm Kim. Let's dive in. Hey everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back.
I'm glad to be here today.
Yeah, I think, it's a pretty good day. The past couple weeks, we've had some really fun interviews. We've had some really fun conversations on our own, and I think we're in a good rhythm. It's feeling good.
I think so too. It's strange for us. It has been a shift. We've shifted from recording in the mornings to recording in the late afternoon, which has been a shift, and there's been an adjustment period, I feel like.
Sure.
But now it's like, I feel like it's got some momentum, and that feels good to me.
Yeah.
Or it's hit its groove. Maybe I should say it's hit its groove and it feels good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I think we're starting to get into a flow with it.
Speaking of flow, have you checked the crypto markets lately?
They've been moving
It's
every day, not every day, but multiple times over the past couple of weeks. I have gotten notifications on my phone about like Bitcoin reaching all new high or some altcoin doing hundreds of percent of increase, and it's fun to watch. Currently, like, we're actually recording this a little bit earlier than when this is going to post, but Bitcoin's over 72,000 right
true. Okay, listen. At the time of this recording, last week, its all-time high was in November of 2021.
now. Right.
So this is kind of a big deal.
It is a big deal. And because Bitcoin tends to lead the market,
Right.
everything else is moving with it in pretty promising ways.
That's true. And we know, okay, there is a lot of talk around Bitcoin. I think it's in this month, it's supposed to be splitting, correct? Isn't it this month?
This month or next month?
I don't know, but
It
really
depends.
soon.
I've heard it's like late March or April, because it's based on um, it hitting 240,000 blocks on the blockchain. Like every 240,000 blocks, it halves. And so it's not necessarily a set date as much as it is like a transaction, but at the current rate of transactions, I think it's expected around that time.
Yeah, that's wild. Okay, so there's a lot of flow, a lot of energy with crypto right now. And personally, that makes me very happy. If you've listened to us since the beginning, if you have listened to us since the beginning, you know that we have a lot of love for crypto. And it's based in a leading from the Father and him kind of revealing to us a system, a financial system in the world that isn't currently working for us and that needs to be revamped, and how crypto holds some keys for that, essentially. This is not financial advice. I'm just going to tell you, let's just preface this whole thing. Okay. We are not giving financial advice. We are not financial advisors.
Right.
We are speculating. We're giving opinions, but it's not because we are trying to get anyone to trade in any direction, one way or another, or even at all. Right?
Very much so.
Is there another, I don't know if there's another disclaimer beyond that we need to give, but this isn't advice, guys. This is us speculating. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
But anyway, so we've had a real heart for crypto, especially Bitcoin, but even just blockchain in general, and the principles behind it are really pretty great.
To be clear, though, we're not big fans of central bank issued digital currencies.
Okay.
We're big fans of Bitcoin and some of the other
peer-to-peer. We're big fans of peer-to-peer cryptocurrencies. And some of these coins, I even really have a love for some of these coins that have other properties and other purposes like smart contracts. Brilliant. How did we not have this in the works years and years and years ago? You know, like where you don't ever have to print paper to do it. Wow.
I didn't watch the whole clip, but I just saw a clip of somebody talking about how elections could be done on blockchain um,
I mean, that
in a
would be smart.
in a very secure, monitored, uh, ethical type of way.
Mhm. That's kind of the beauty of blockchain is that it's really, really, really nearly impossible to cheat it.
Right.
It could be done, but it would have to be the biggest conspiracy that this world has ever seen. And this world has seen some pretty big conspiracies.
I don't know if it would have to be the biggest,
I think
but
it would have to be pretty freaking big.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, for sure. Okay. So we love crypto.
we do.
Okay. So this kind of thing really is exciting when we start seeing these coins move like they have, and especially after May of 2022, 2022, when everything tanked, and then we were in a almost 2 year long crypto winter.
Mm-hmm.
And for people who were hodling, or for the normies holding their coins, uh, that winter was hard. It was a harsh winter, you guys.
It's very, it was a very cold winter.
It was. It was. Um, so anyway, it's exciting to see, especially new all-time highs.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean that in any market is like, oh, there's like that's something to pay attention to.
right, right. Josh, would you be willing to talk a little bit about why you think cryptocurrency is important?
Hmm. Yeah, it's simple for me. Um, it's because I think that we need as a society to innovate to stay alive. Um, and I think our monetary system is based on a system that's over 100 years old and can't possibly meet the needs of civilization as we know it today. And I know, like, with huge systems like the monetary system, be, um, it can't be constantly in line. Like, you're going to have a period where it probably always feels a bit behind the cutting edge because you need something that has been worked out as stable, like, and then you can set that in place for hundreds of millions of people to use. And so it's probably always going to feel a bit behind, but I think we're due for some sort of an upgrade. And maybe that looks like some type of a digital system coming in. um, I would love to see it be a more peer-to-peer based system. I think that it's uh, under our current systems, it's harder to see that being a reality, just because the centralized system is very entrenched in society and in the culture and in power. And
Mhm.
so, but I think crypto offers a, I think it offers a step forward in the monetary system that we have, that is kind of, it's almost like a leap forward. Like, we've had steps forward. Like, we've gone from cash to checks to debit cards to credit cards to, I mean, it's, I don't remember the exact number, but it's something like 60 to 80% of the money we transact in is already purely digital. It never flows through a physical paper dollar.
Mhm.
And so, like, we're already headed that direction. But I think like so I think there just needs to be these things that push the envelope forward. And I think for me, I see crypto as a piece of the next evolution, and it may not look like what we currently know as crypto. It may, or it may, like, I don't know,
Right.
but I think that there's such value in innovation, and there's such value in like continuing to look at how can we do this better, how can we meet the needs of our society better and better. And I think crypto offers that capability.
Mhm.
uh, it may not do it perfectly, and like Kim said, like both of us were led to invest through relationship with the Father, through things we were involved in. And it's not like been this perfect, amazing like adventure. It hasn't like made either of us billionaires. Like it's, but it is something that's like, so when I look at it, I'm like, okay, well, there's a reason you wanted us in here. And I think part of it is like both of us have a heart for innovation and for seeing things moving forward. Um, and crypto offers, if not, like, I don't think it'll be the final step, but I think it is a step forward.
Yeah, totally. I tend to agree. Um, I was just thinking about, mm, I don't know. I I want to say some things and I'm trying to figure out how to get them out. I know that we have a piece in getting people transitioned over to a financial system that serves them better.
Mm.
I think one of the reasons that it's become really important is because really we've kind of in the last few years transitioned from being um, more, I don't know, centered, more grouped by or not demographic, by geography, kind of cultures and economies, into being more like this global economy. I think if the pandemic showed us anything, it showed us that we are connected, whether we're in the same room or not. And I think that opened things up um, globally, even economically for us. Yes, we've always been trading with China. Yes, we've always been having these trades. But I think personally, like peer to peer, we're seeing it more and more, right? We're
Sure.
connected with people in different places. I mean, Josh, you and I were super connected with people in South Africa. It is a wild thing to go back and forth because we have to transact in US dollars here and South African rand there. And sometimes it gets real mixed up. you know, like even in the stores, they'll ask, like, on the some credit card machines will ask, well, do you want to transact this in rand or in dollars?
Mm.
Right. But because of the exchange rate, it's constantly changing. Like, I don't, how many dollars does this equal? And one of the beautiful things I think about a cryptocurrency or something that is a bit more universal is that you don't have to worry about the exchange. You know, I can send my friend Melise flowers on her birthday without incurring some huge exchange fee
Mm.
because we're transacting in the same currency. You know what I mean? And there are things like that. And it doesn't mean you're sending hundreds of thousands of dollars overseas all the time. It just means that you're speaking the same language in current, like currency wise, and value being exchanged. And that's really where I think we're going. And I think it is a beautiful thing because I think it is really nice to be able to exchange money from person to person without all of the middle people. And I think that's how it was intended, right?
Yeah. I was recently listening to someone talk about MLMs, and how like it can be a like it can be sold to you as a very grassroots, like peer to peer. But at every level of it, you're shaving off pieces to give to the next higher tier.
Mhm.
Um, and how like it's almost an illusion of a true peer-to-peer system because you're still funneling that money in the same way that a traditional business does. Like
Sure.
if I buy a product, the person who manufactures it sells it for a profit. The person who distributes it sells it for a profit. The person who ships it charges a profit. Like
Mhm.
there's so you have those levels in each of them. And so I was like, it's kind of interesting because it's like, well, like, is it possible to actually transact without that? Is it possible to actually function without that? And I don't think that it's all a bad thing to have that because
Right.
businesses are can be amazing. But it was just an interesting thought of like, oh, like, and like I don't know that you can fully get rid of it, but in some ways, I think about like how we've seen crypto used in South Africa, where you have these little tiny shops and they're accepting Bitcoin for payments. And there's because it doesn't ever go through like the banking system, they're not charged for bank accounts and service fees and um, but
Merchant fees and
the but the blockchain does still take up like
a
there is
cut.
a transaction fee. And
Mhm.
so it's like, oh, but that's still one. Is that better than the way we currently do it? And I don't know. I think it's an interesting when we talk about finance and finance systems, there's so many layers to it. It's such a big animal at this point
Yeah.
that like really innovating it like wholly is probably impossible without the collapse of what is currently there.
Right.
Innovating pieces of it, yeah, you can certainly do that. And so I just think that's an interesting, like, crypto and all these things are such an interesting um, thought experiment because it is important to keep the ball moving forward. But just about everyone you talk to has a different idea of how it should move forward.
For sure. For sure. Well, and that's why I said, I think that actually I know that we hold a piece of this. I know that we do not hold all of it. And I
Mm,
don't think it would have mm, as much legitimacy if only two people are holding all of the pieces of it. You know what I mean? If we're talking kingdom, and again, we were led to this by like through a relationship with the Father. If we're talking kingdom, I don't know that any one person is going to be holding it all. Like this has to be a kingdom effort. You know what I mean? And it's for the betterment of the world. It's not, I don't know. I'm not one of those people who thinks that only Christians should be able to carry the wealth in the world. Like, come on, you know? But I do think that this is something that, hey, if we're listening, if we're tuned in, if we have that relationship, if we're being led there, yeah, we'll probably get pieces of that. And then it is also our responsibility to link arms with people who hold other pieces of it so that it can all come to fruition and we can actually see a system that is better
mm,
being outworked. And then not just one person gets all the credit. And then they don't stand to become the idol.
mm,
You know, I think there's a lot of principles that work in this. I can't help but think, I mean, this was a long time ago, and you guys can go back and listen if you want. But our interview with Nancy Cohen, and she was talking about how she's part of a team who's working on a gold backed digital currency, cryptocurrency. And I mean, a quick Google search can get you linked up to, I think it's like the QFS or something. Isn't that right? QFS? quantum financial system. I think that's what it's called.
I think so.
You can go do your own research. It's another, there you go, more crypto talk, right? But she was talking about that and how there are all these different people who have gotten pieces and they're starting to bring them together and they hold these different pieces of the whole. And it's really important for them all to be working together. And I think that is probably one of the best demonstrations I've seen of that. Mm. And to make that happen, I think you've got to get past the theology differences and the demographic differences and the economic differences and all of those things that could stand to keep it from coming together and say, no, here's this purpose. We're coming together to see this come together. It doesn't matter like ethnically, it doesn't matter economically where you are. It doesn't matter if you're a Methodist and I'm a Catholic, like it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah. Yeah. It's there's things that bring the collectiveness together that I think is great. And there's, we're big fans of unity. We're big fans of humanity.
Right.
And it's great to see things when they come together like that. When there's something about culture that brings people together.
For sure. And just the innovation of it. Listen, one of the reasons we love innovation is not for like the lifting up of a person, but for the betterment of humanity, right? Like, can we, like, all these people are collectively coming together for this just to see the advancement. This isn't for one person or a small group of people to get rich. It is like seriously to advance. Mm. And I think that's a beautiful thing. And that's that's a piece of the unity that we talk about. We haven't talked about this for a while, Josh.
That's true.
But it's one of our, it's one of those things that makes our hearts sing. Like it's the unity because we're called to love. It is unity because we're sons of God. It is unity for the sake of oneness, beyond the presence of differences. It's unity for the sake of differences.
Yeah.
Right.
In spite of differences.
And I've really come to start appreciating vast differences from myself. And that's not something I could have said 3 years ago, even. It's been a journey, but sometimes it's so needed to have some balance in the body.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's so important. I don't want to shift the topic too much, but diversity is really important. And that's, like Kim said, that's one of the reasons we love innovation, is because it's bringing something new, and it's bringing opinions that haven't been there before. And it's bringing people together in a discourse of how things, like how should we do this? What can we do with it?
That's so good. Okay, I think we should end it here because I want to continue this conversation in our next episode. And it has to do with creativity.
Awesome.
And the masses.
Yeah, I think that's great. I want to say one thing before we end this episode. Anytime crypto starts really moving, crypto scams and people telling you, thus saith the Lord moments on crypto tend to skyrocket. And with the advent of AI and a lot of other things, scams can be very convincing. Because true. You could take someone like Elon Musk and make him say, "Hey, Kim, I think you should invest in this." And you might be like, well, he would never talk to me directly. But you could have it phrased in a way where it's like, wow, that's really convincing. And then it's totally fake. And so I just want people to be aware that um, there are a lot of there's just be cautious, be aware, be smart. Don't click on links you don't recognize. Don't send money to strangers. Like this happens all the time. It happened a lot during the crypto heyday in 2020 and 2021.
Sure.
And I just want people to be aware that um, that it's a thing. And
It
it's
is
it's
a
a
thing.
it's a thing all the time. Everybody is trying to scam you out of your money, but especially with something that's new that you aren't as familiar with, crypto can be a piece of that.
Yeah, for sure. And I would say this, like even in that example that you gave, like the thus saith the Lord words that you get from people,
Mhm.
the Bible even talks about don't detest prophecy, but test it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
So
not that those can't be true.
correct, but go test it with the Lord. Go back to
Yes.
the originator
Yes.
of that word, which would be the Lord. And then if he says yes, then by all means, do what you're led to do, but make sure it's coming out of relationship with him, even if it was first mentioned from someone else. You know what I
Mm.
mean? But that source always needs to be that relationship with him. So that's my best advice, but it's not financial advice because we're not financial advisors.
That's true. Don't take our word for it. Do your own research.
How about this? Just go have a relationship,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Know his voice, know him intimately, learn his will. Reminds me of,
Yes.
okay, you know what is my favorite verse in the Bible? Romans 12:2. It has been for years. So it says, um, don't conform to the patterns of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind so that you will know God's will, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. So, how do you do that? It's through relationship,
Mm.
right? So, just like we're talking about, here are the patterns of the world. It's all going to come to you. You'll see it, you'll hear it, it'll come across your desk, but be transformed, right? Like go back to the source so that you can know his will. And then you know how to make the right decisions.
So good.
It's good, simple, easy. I say that. I know it's not always easy.
No, but it's not as hard as we sometimes make it.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Mm.
Well, good talk today. I'm looking forward to the next one. And you guys, thanks for joining. Hit us up if you have any questions about this. We have a Discord channel as well. You should join it. It's in the show notes. And we do have a place for trading and for crypto talk. So if you want to chat anything about it or any other topic we've talked about, head over there. We are all about like actual relationship.
Yeah. So true.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for listening. Keep up with us along this journey by liking, subscribing, and becoming a member through YouTube.
Members get exclusive access to bonus content with our guests, deeper dives into topics, and a look into other projects. We're glad to have you here. See you next time.